All right, what's up YouTube? We're got our campsite here. We're at the Overland Expo East out in Abington, Virginia. We're in the premium forest camping. So I'll give you a quick shot of all the camp guys that are set up out here. That's where you come in at. A lot of tent campers, rooftop tent campers. Now this is Thursday, so this is day one, and here's our spot. We went back here through the woods. Now there's a road that went up that way. I drove around. I didn't drive through here, but there we are. Actually pretty level too. We did have to use a couple blocks under the back to bring the back end up a couple inches. But this is back in the woods. That's where we came in, right through there. There's folks all around here, and there's some porta johns down there. So this is where we're at. Got our IDs, got our tags. So we just got here on Thursday. It's I think it's about 2 o'clock. We're going to eat a little bit of lunch. The girl at the gate said they run a shuttle down to the main expo center. So the shuttle, I think they said, starts about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. And I think first class starts about 10. So signed up for a bunch of different classes. Go over those later on when I attend them. Okay, we got swag bags. I don't know what's in here, so let's take a look. All right, this is a surprise for me too. I got a newspaper for Overland Expo East. That's exciting. I guess if I run out of toilet paper. This says, "Ride with us, you're invited. A free introductory motorcycle riding experience." I've already had my share of motorcycles. Let's see what else is in here. I'm going to trip to Mongolia. Scan a QR code. I don't want to go to Mongolia. Guild Outfitters. All right, got a sticker. Iron Man 4x4. Got a sticker. Hopefully there's something. What's this? Oh. You get a free cookbook. Buy one silicone mold, $29.99. Get one 50% off. Booth demo daily. All right, yeah, I don't know what that is. Whatever. There's a hold on. Ooh, got a patch. Patch is kind of cool. Here's a key ring for, what's that say? Bundutech USA, whatever that is. Lexus GX. I guess that's a sticker. I don't own an Lexus. Wait a minute. And I got this sticker says, I don't know, I ain't got my glasses on. It says something. Maybe you can read it. And I think that's a pen. Pretty decent pen. Alright, well that's it. So that's all we got. Alright, correction. It's like a screwdriver, a little mini screwdriver kit. And the patch says Overland East Expo. Okay, that's what it is. There's an overview from the camping area. There's all the expo down there. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday morning. We're down in the expo area of the Overland Expo and signed up for a bunch of classes today. First one this morning is on-trail tire repair. Some of the stuff, Blue Tread. They got a tire repair kit over there. You can see they got a couple tires here with some stuff in it. So I'll be showing some of the classes I'll be attending today, and later on probably tomorrow I think we'll be doing a lot of the vendor stuff, taking a look around. So here's a quick overview.
Okay, and seats itself right in there. And I just happen to have a 13mm wrench right here, right? Now we can start tightening that down, okay? You're probably gonna have to keep a little pressure on it just to make sure that that valve stem isn't spinning, okay? One of the things you can do that is hopefully in your tire repair kit, or you can even buy these for, you know, $1 at a gas station. You have one of these great little 4-way tools here. This is a valve stem and valve core tool, but if you're having a problem with that valve stem spinning, get you just a little bit of thread on top there and screw that on, and that'll give you something to hold that valve stem in place, okay? Now, I'm not having a problem with this spinning right now. It's tightening down good on its own.
And those are called Colby?
These are Colby tire valves.
Colby tire valves.
C-O-L-B-Y?
Correct.
C-O-L-B-Y.
Fairly thick, a little over 1/8 of an inch thick. And even some of the smaller pieces like this, or you can cut smaller pieces out of them, and if some of the kits do come with smaller stuff on them. Then you get, and depending on the kit you buy, you get an accelerator that makes the glue harden much faster. Close this up. Then you get a bunch of sandpaper, okay? And the last thing you're gonna get is this Glue Tread crazy glue. I don't know what kind of crazy glue this is, but do not get it on your fingers, or whatever your fingers touch, it's gonna become a permanent, or you're losing some skin. It also comes with these fancy little applicators right here, right? So go ahead and get all your stuff out that you're gonna need in order to fix the sidewall of this tire that comes in this kit, right? So your razor knife, one thing I do carry and I add to all my kits is a paint pen, okay? So now I can mark out where that damage was. If I walk away and come back or whatever, I can find that very quickly and easily, okay? Now, the first step to repairing that sidewall, go ahead, take your razor knife and just open up a little bit on that glue tread, okay? And take one of these little drip applicators and put it on there, all right? Now, as much as you can, try to open up that cut on that sidewall and just drip some of that glue in there, okay? And try to fill it up. Don't overdo it, right? This is not a pee for plenty moment, and then you can hold it together for about 30 seconds, okay? And you'll see it harden. If you have the accelerant, you can go ahead and squirt it on there and it'll harden immediately, okay? So we're gonna fast forward a little bit here, but now I've already used up my smaller one, so I need a good size for down there. So I'll measure it out to let me know, and what you're looking for is about a 1/4 inch all the way around that slice, okay, of material. Any less than that, and it may not make a good seal. Any more than that, you're kind of just wasting those plugs, right? Down right there. So when I get to messing with the glue, I do put my gloves on because I've lost some skin on my fingers. Take your piece of sandpaper, have that ready, but take your piece, lay it down over top of it, and mark it out with your paint pen so you know exactly how much you have to sand down. Then take your sandpaper. If it's flat, like I conveniently have a cut right here, then I can just rough it up a little bit. If it was over top of these letters, or even if it was up here on the edge where these knurls are, we have to flatten it completely, okay? So I carry a little battery operated grinder, little die grinder that I use, and it makes it quick and easy. But a razor knife if you have to shave some of that down so that you're not sitting here sanding forever. But again, fortunately, my break right here is a perfect location. So we're gonna sand it and rough it up. And then just wipe it down, okay? Just wipe it down. Now, this is arguably one of the most important steps. Again, not P for plenty. Take your glue and you actually want to drip it in a grid pattern all the way around, either on the tire or you can do it on the patch like this right here. Don't just slather a bunch of glue on there, okay? Just these drips.
Is that your technique or is that in your instructions as well?
That's their technique that they recommend. If you use a lot, when I was doing the testing, it failed every time.
How much space do you leave between each drip? Like
Just 1/8 of an inch or so. They actually, in the kit here, they show you kind of how to lay it out in the grid pattern. So now we're ready. So we're gonna place that and hold it, okay? That's right. So hold it down there. We do want to see just a little bit of glue squeezing out around the sides, okay? Now again, if you have this accelerant right here, you can just squirt this right onto that and it will harden almost immediately.
does that come with that kit that you just?
It does, depending on the kit you buy. It does. So you can see already, I can't remove that patch, okay? It's already hardened. Now, if you want to, okay, you can take this and run just like you were welding, a little bead around the outside. I see sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't.
But your glue's toast anyway, right?
That's right, your tire's done anyway, so you might as well try it. Again, take your accelerant, squirt it. Now, they say wait about 5 minutes if you have the accelerant, okay? Then we can put air to this tire and we can start driving along. If you don't have the accelerator, you get one of the kits that doesn't come with that. You have to wait about 30 to 45 minutes in order for a good adhesion and good settling. I tell everybody, if you are on the trail and air down, go ahead and wait a little bit longer. I'll wait 10 minutes because that tire is going to be flexing and I don't want it to crack that glue. I want it really to get a good harden. But this glue is more pliable than your standard crazy glue. So once we've done that, again, that sidewall is now good for any trail riding. We can put it as a spare on the back. We can continue on. We didn't ruin our day. Now, this would be a great spare for off-road. MTS, okay? Minimum brake strength or minimum tensile strength. Some manufacturers are putting on their ratings, they are putting maximum brake strength or average brake strength. Okay, we want that minimum brake strength or minimum tensile strength. That's the number we want to know. So when they pull tested this product, they didn't give us an average of all of them that broke or the highest number that broke. We want that lowest number, that minimum brake strength. So for instance, we've got Factor 55 here. It says MTS, minimum tensile strength, 46,500 pounds, okay? We pull out another one, this Ironman here, a little bit different tag, right? And we can see that this one, when I can read good, is minimum brake strength, it says it on there, 12,000 kilograms, right? So we want that minimum brake strength and we want it for a tree strap to be double our winch capacity. Now, choosing a good tree strap. Some things to look at right here. Look at the stitching where they are sewn together. We want that stitching to run parallel down the strap. If it runs perpendicular back and forth, chances are highly likely that that strap is going to separate. It's not going to be as strong. Difference is when you start to see tree straps that are very, very expensive and tree straps that are more affordable, right? A lot of times it's in the construction. So you take like this one here, we've got this abrasion guard. You can also feel it's much thicker. Just like a tire, it has plies, okay? This is what they would consider a 3-ply strap, okay? This is kind of a lifetime strap for someone like me who is doing a ton of recovery, okay? Or if you just like having a really heavy duty strap. Like Ironman's here, this is a 2-ply. We can actually see the plies there where it comes together. Some other straps out there may only be 1-ply. It does affect the strength. Much more affordable option, right? And for most people, this is gonna last an entire lifetime for them, okay? If you're not doing recovery professionally. We can still see on this, the stitching, right? Running parallel where they sew it back together, okay? Super important. Now, some tree straps, if they do come from the overhead lifting industry and some off-road manufacturers, they actually put a different color string that you can't see unless you overload the strap, and it would be an indicator that that strap is done and it needs to be discontinued and thrown out, right? But that's more prevalent in the overhead lifting industry. Anything snatching should happen in recovery. So I call them kinetic straps. It's really truly what they are. Kinetic straps have roughly about 20% stretch, okay? Whereas our tree straps have less than 5% stretch. So they're not gonna have any stretch in a winching recovery, but in a kinetic recovery, we now have that 20% stretch so we can get a little bit of momentum, okay? While this is slack, and when it goes tight, it's gonna stretch and absorb that initial shock load and transfer that stored energy, hopefully, to the stuck vehicle, okay? That's also, again, why it makes a kinetic recovery so dangerous. That stretch, if something comes loose, it's now flying in whichever direction that stretch is pulling. And it's fast. Times the weight of your vehicle. Again, not the weight of your vehicle as you purchased it, but now that we've all gotten into overloading, we need to know the weight of that vehicle for real, okay? After you put the armor, loaded up with 2 kids and 2 dogs and all your water and fuel and everything, we need to know the weight of that vehicle. That's what we want to tailor our recovery gear to, because that's when we're going to get stuck, right? That's when we're going to be out there. So go weigh your vehicle, but your snatch strap or kinetic strap should be 3 to 4 times the weight of your vehicle for that minimum brake strap, in the sense that it stretches, but these stretch roughly about 30%, so 10% more stretch, okay? They are typically going to be more durable, okay, because they're more of a rope design, and depending on the manufacturer, we'll point out some things to look for here in a minute, but depending on the manufacturer and how they, the material that they use for it helps it hold up a lot better than your standard strap. It also is going to handle more stretches than your strap is before it will no longer return back to its original length. Kinetic ropes, okay, come from the marine industry. This is what tugboats use to pull other ships around, or when ships are tied in at port and the tide comes in, the ship rises up, these stretch. When the tide goes out again, it comes back down, these return back to their original length. We've adapted them to recovery. Kinetic ropes, choosing a good one, like this one, this is a Ironman one. The eye here, they dip it in a rubberized coating. Companies like Safe Extract, Factor 55, they do that as well. This is going to be the wear point for your strap. So having that rubberized coating helps, in keeping it a little bit more durable. I like, because I spend a lot of time in sand and mud and stuff like that, some companies will put like a Dura coating or a plasticides coating on there to make the fibers a little bit more durable. Again, companies like Factor 55, Safe Extract, Ironman's, you can even feel this one. It's a little bit harder, and that will stop some of that abrasion, okay? Same thing, as this stretches, any mud, dirt, or sand that gets in there, they're wearing those fibers out. It's like when you spend all day on the beach and you get a little bit of sand in your swimming trunks and you're walking around, right? It doesn't feel good. Same thing for your rope. Ropes ratings are based on the diameter of the rope, right? So this is a 7/8, so the minimum brake strength is going to be roughly somewhere around 26,800 pounds. That's a lot. You go up to 1 inch, it goes up to, for instance, somewhere around 28,000 pounds. You go up to 1 1/8 inches, 1 1/4 inches. The thicker it gets, the stronger it gets as far as that minimum brake strength, okay? So make sure you are getting one that is rated 3 to 4 times the weight of your vehicle. With the Kinetic rope and the Kinetic strap, bigger is not always better. Because if you have a little 2-door Jeep Wrangler and you buy a big 1.5 inch Kinetic rope, you're not going to be able to stretch that rope because you're not going to have enough weight unless you start getting into the point where you're getting huge running head starts, and then safety's out the window anyway, right? So make sure you're getting it rated correctly for your vehicle. Same thing about the length of the rope. I prefer a 20-foot. Again, it's because of the trails I work on. A 30-foot is better if you have the area to work with it. Kinetic ropes normally are going to last longer than your Kinetic straps, but for most people buying a Kinetic strap, it's going to last a lifetime. Again, only if you're doing a lot of recoveries do you need to get into a Kinetic rope, but the Kinetic ropes are going to hold up a lot better in some of the different terrain and stuff like that. For a long time now, comes from kind of the marine and sailing industry and stuff like that, but it's getting tons of different uses. Most winches, you can choose to have a synthetic rope equipped winch right from the factory, right? The benefits are that winch is going to be a whole lot lighter, normally 20 to 30 pounds depending on the winch and how much line is on it, versus the cable variant. The synthetic winch line is hands down going to be 100% safer than steel cable. The main reason for that is synthetic winch line is what we call a 12-strand neutral braid, meaning there are 12 strands here, but they don't twist in any way. So when they break, it breaks in a straight line. Does not just fall to the ground, it breaks in a straight line. Okay? Where steel cable has a right-hand lay or a left-hand lay, that's the twist. And when it breaks, it wants to return back to that right or left-hand lay, and it whips. Has a lot more stored energy. When you compare synthetic winch line size to size compared to steel cable, less stretch than steel cable because it unwinds. This has less than 2% stretch, and it's going to be stronger than the same size equivalent of steel cable. Okay. The downside to synthetic winch line is it is not as abrasion resistant. Okay. But let me tell you, in the demonstrations I do in our classes about winch line repair, and I do cut a winch line so everybody can see it break, I have to have a pair of trauma shears to cut this stuff. It is not easy to cut. If you just have a regular pocket knife, you'll dull your pocket knife trying to cut it. Okay, it's very durable, but sharp edges can cut it and wear it out, especially when it's tight. Okay, but field repairable if we do cut it, so we can splice it in the field in about 5-10 minutes max, whether it's an end, a new end, or if we have to splice it in the middle. That's 100% a field repair, and it is, let me back up, that is 100% a permanent repair in the field, right? Doing a splice. Steel cable, you cannot. So that's a huge benefit, and I like it because it floats, right? So when somebody throws it to me out in the mud, I don't have to go digging around in the mud trying to find it, because it never fails. I'm like, hey, that guy's in sandals, send him into the mud hole, right? That's why I had kids there. So I know, we all call them D-rings, right? But these are screw pin bow shackles from the overhead lifting industry. Okay, so we see the bow here, that's specifically designed for straps, and the screw pin on top that we have to screw and tighten. D-rings are straight up and down on the side, and they're designed for chain. So typically this is what we see we use in recovery. The bow side is for your straps, the eye of your straps, your soft shackles and things like that, while the pin typically is for like winch hooks and other stuff to make those connections. Not all screw pin bow shackles are created equal, okay? Make sure you are buying from a reputable manufacturer. They are going to have some ratings stamped on them, but you can't always trust those ratings. Ratings are a little bit different. You're not going to see a minimum brake strength. What you're going to see is a WLL, a number, and then a T. That WLL is working load limit. Then the number, like for a 3/4 bow shackle, is typically going to be 4 3/4. The T is tons. How many pounds are in a ton?
2,000.
2,000 pounds in a ton, right? So that's the working load limit. That's from the overhead lifting industry, similar to safe working load limit. That is from being able to pick up over top of people's heads and move product around, right? So how they come up with that working load limit is typically industry standard on bow shackles, at least, is they have a safety factor of 6. So they divide the minimum brake strength by 6 to get the working load limit. So a lot of times for these size bow shackles, their minimum brake strength is well over 60,000 pounds. It's not the bow shackles we see that fail, it's the recovery points on the vehicles that fail. Briefly about recovery points, okay? I don't want to get too in-depth in this. Again, there's so many different brands of bumpers and stuff like that on the market, it's hard to really point out, but your recovery points on your bumper is the most important thing that's on that bumper, okay? Because those recovery points need to, number one, they need to be situated as best as they can in line with the frame or the unibody substructure of that vehicle, not offset up or down or wider or narrower, but they also need to be as close to the mounting points of that bumper, because we're going to be putting a lot of force on those recovery points. Some manufacturers now are starting to bevel the edges so that you can use them with soft shackles, but a lot of times they have 90-degree edges that are just too sharp, so we still have to use a bow shackle. The best recovery point on the rear of your vehicle is your hitch, if it was installed correctly, right? Because it's tied into both frame rails, so when you load it from both frame rails, and it's normally got tons of grade 8 hardware holding it in place. Some people out there will teach just putting a hitch pin through the eye of a strap or something inside of your hitch, but if you do that, then the recovery, as it moves around, it will wear your eye of your strap, and if you ever bend one of these hitch pins inside your hitch, you're not getting it out. Not without a lot of bad words, right? So using a hitch link, okay, or some type of receiver hitch mounted recovery point is great. This is an old one I've had for a while from Factor 55, has beveled edges, has 2 different mounting points. Companies, again, like Safe Extract and companies like that, they actually make them where you can mount them upright like this, or you can turn them 90 degrees and mount them like this. So there's a lot of benefits to those. I typically carry 2 of these in my kit, so if I need one for my truck, and then, you know, whoever slid off the trail, I can hook up to them and put it in their hitch as well. So carrying a couple of hitch links is a good idea. Make sure, again, you don't buy them off of mikesbasement.com, right? You want it to be solid material, not the hollowed out ones, and have a rating on it.
All right, so that was 2 really good classes, about 45 minutes long for each one. I learned a lot of the tire one, that's for sure. The sidewall plugs, the patches for that, and then a busted valve stem is another good one. Any of those things can happen, especially if you're off-road. You know, like I said, you know, you guys have seen my camper. We're not planning on crawling the Rubicon Trail here. But, you know, if you're on some Forest Service road, a stick, you know, can pop up, rock can come up and get you, bust a sidewall, break a valve stem, you know. Good ways to get them fixed, so they at least get you back on the road, get to a tire shop, get them properly repaired. Some good recovery equipment. Definitely learned a lot, especially about oversizing the weight, 3 to 4 times your vehicle weight. I guess I better hit a scale, find out what the Phoenix Cruiser weighs. So right now I'm heading back. Going to get some lunch real quick. I got at least 1 or 2 more classes this afternoon, and then hopefully come back down and take a look at some of these vendors. I did catch a couple of vendors between classes, so yeah, this has turned out to be a really good day. So I'll be back after lunch. All right, had another informal class, kind of a more like a question session that Garmin put on. So Garmin has quite a few expensive GPS options, lots of different ones, watches, handheld ones. I was looking for one in particular for our unit, since once we head out west, all the public land looks like the Garmin Trend is probably the one I would go with. Shows you all the public land out west, what land you're on, Bureau of Land Management, National Forest, stuff like that. You can drop waypoints, so when you're driving out and leaving basically breadcrumbs so you can find your way back. You got to think, I mean, you can drive out 30, 40, 50 miles out in the middle of nowhere and need to know how to get back. So got some good information over there. I think I found the one that I kind of like. You can also get the Garmin InReach service, which does SOS. So if something happens, fall down, break your leg, I guess you can, maybe if you get stuck, you can send it out and help will eventually get there. I reference back to that one elderly couple who was out west, who got their RV stuck on a road they should not have been on. Unfortunately, they left their RV, they took their car, the car got stuck later on. He eventually did die, and his wife did live, but it was a pretty sad story. And they didn't have any kind of InReach or any way to call for help when they got stuck. So yeah, things like that are definitely a concern, especially in my line of work. So let me show you what I'm looking at.
But this is great.
That's the
Dog.
Garmin Trend.
So that was the Garmin Trend. Lots of different versions. So talking to the sales guy over there, probably the one that I'm probably going to go with. Check online.
Alright, so we roll the roof up off the shower. Push one button. Arms folding in. Push that one. Okay, get those over. That's got like metal at the bottom? Like fiberglass rod inside? Okay. Velcro goes around, pull the bag down over top of it, and that's it. And this one actually has a built-in LED, so we'll go ahead and set it back out. You unzip it, the arms open up. There's one click, 2 clicks, and if you want the roof, you can unroll the roof. And there you go. And with this, I see it's got the zipper, so my outdoor shower can go there. A couple pouches, and in the bracket he has in the box that'll hold the shower head and mount right up on there. And this one does have the LED light on it. Your shower head, excuse for the shower head, gotcha. And then that's if you're mounting it around a rack, the L brackets, okay. And then it also comes with these longer bolts too. So you get 4 of the shorter bolts, okay. And then these 4 if you're mounting it to a roof rack, but you're not mounting it to a rack. Correct. So you will have those 4 extra bolts in there. Okay. Too. And even some wrenches. Yep. Cool.
And then there's the floor pan. If you want to stake the floor pan down, you can just lay that down there and stand on that. It's got a hole in the bottom, so the water will drain out.
All right, so that's a little shower enclosure we just showed everybody. So talk to that guy. I think I can definitely make that work, especially if we're near a water source. I can, filter the water, put it back in the RV with my outdoor shower, use it. Stephanie can shower until I don't have any water left and I got to go get more water. I can shower out here if the weather's nice. We do use natural soaps, so it's not a big concern with, like contaminating the groundwater. You want to make sure you're at least 100 feet from a water source, so if you do have any runoff, you're not putting it in the water, because, yeah, we don't want to do that. We're not here to mess up the environment. But, yeah, I think something like that's definitely going. So we're riding back up to the RV, and I come to a Overland Expo show, and I come to there's a dog show. I spend more time with the dogs than I do with the Overland and stuff. But this is Daisy. This is Daisy down there, and that's I didn't catch his name, but he's a Belgian Malinois. So if you guys know me, you know I've been in a bike suit. I've been bit by quite a few Belgian Malinois and German Shepherds. So I'll check back in later. right, good morning. Saturday morning. We're still here. Today is not so many classes. Today is more of just looking at all the vendors, a lot of vendors. It did rain overnight, and as you can tell, that hum you probably hear in the background is my generator. So last night, probably a couple hours before we woke up, both my lithium batteries died, dead. So all right, the fan, our little exhaust fan would keep on pull air through the RV at night, that stopped, and they were dead, like dead. So I had to start the truck up, start the van up. That's a separate system. There's two separate systems, two separate battery systems. So that started. I let that run for a few minutes, probably about 20 minutes. I had enough juice to get the generator started. So once I got the generator started, everything came back online because my inverter was off, the refrigerator, still cold. It's running on propane. I'm not sure if it was running or not. Either way, the light was off, so it does use some 12 volt. So I got the generator going. It's been running for probably an hour and a half now. Getting the charge back on the batteries. The sun is out, the rain is gone. I'm only picking up about 15 watts because, we're back here in the woods. So when we leave, we'll make sure everything is completely off, except for the refrigerator. And hopefully I'll get a little bit of solar, so it'll bring up the batteries a little bit today. I'm probably going to have to start the generator this evening, let it run for about an hour, probably while we're doing dinner. Just have enough juice to make sure we get it through the night. And we did both take showers last night. It was pretty hot. I was really sticky. We used did do some dishes this morning, so we are running pretty low on water, but we are leaving tomorrow morning, so that's not really going to be a problem. I guess that's about it. So I'll once I get down to the expo center, we'll check in with some of the vendors and show you some of the cool stuff. And we're probably going to be buying at least a couple things today, so stick around. So this old Bronco has a Cummins diesel 4-cylinder in it, and this Ford pickup has the new 7.3 Godzilla Ford motor.
And then the little locks slide down.
Slide those down, yeah.
Okay.
And shelves.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
And then when you store, the shelves store on the bottom.
okay.
And then you use them up here, but like, you have to put them there to fold with it. They want to fold with them up here.
Okay, gotcha.
This way, I see.
So you can keep them in there when you
Yeah,
collapse
yeah.
it. Okay, gotcha. Okay. He said that you can store them in the bottom.
Yeah, when we bring them from the factory, they're just separate like that.
They're like that. So you don't have to have it separated in the bag.
It just won't fold like that.
Right.
And it weighs 20 pounds.
Yep.
Taking it down, tap it in, tap it in.
Kind of like the stroller.
Yeah.
There's four little latches on it, keep it closed. There's your handle. Put it back in the bag.
All right. So your Defiance?
Defiance Tools.
Yeah.
Defiance Tools. You got a website?
DefianceTools.com.
DefianceTools.com. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And there's what we got. Weighs about 20 pounds, and it's $200. So $200 and you get yourself a nice folding table. So come check out Defiance Tools. Maybe buy yourself a table. Of course, we both got some Overland Expo swag. Here is the food trucks, the coffee trucks, and the bar. First time using our tailgate tire table. Let's see. The guy said the zippers are on the side. It's a little easier to put the bag on when you're done. He said you got to take these. They go here. Got some grip tape on there. Loosen these up. Let's see. Don't hold the pole because it won't slide. And then it goes over the dually. They say you got it level. Put your hip into it. Tighten these up. And then there's this one here. Put it on the rim. I think you can put it like that. And that's our tire table. So what we want to do is we want to get a Blackstone. We'll put our Blackstone on here. And since my propane's there, I can hopefully get a extend to stay, which is like a T, and I can run it in, and I can plug the Blackstone in so Stephanie can cook. Now, the guy said when you put it away, there's this. He said you put the bag on, loosen these up. There you go. And I got a backpack for some hikes later. Hey, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.